everybody, and welcome to Chelmsford Tonight. This is the show where we highlight the people and places that make Chelmsford and the surrounding communities such an amazing place to live and work. I'm Karen Woodrow, owner of Visiting Angels Senior Home Care right here in Chelmsford, and I'll be your host. On tonight's show, we have 3 stories about people who have found a way to turn life's losses and challenges into positive actions that bring hope and fun to others. Here to talk about Junie's Place, a new playground coming to Friendship Park this summer, are Kristen Dillon, a Chelmsford Mom Dynamo, and Steve Callaghan from the Chelmsford Department of Public Works. Welcome to Chelmsford Tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad you guys could be here. There's exciting things happening this summer at Roberts Field over on Old Westford Road. Kristen, why don't you tell us about Junie's Place, what it is, and who was the inspiration for it?
Sure. So Junie's Place is a playground expansion for 2 to 5-year-olds at Roberts Field at Friendship Park. So it was inspired by my daughter Juniper, Dillon, who passed away unexpectedly on December 30th, 2022. And Junie was a ray of light and bubbly and fun and deeply wanted to help her friends. And so we thought what better way to honor Junie was to have a playground kind of in honor of her and memorializing her for friends to come and enjoy and play, kind of in tribute to her beautiful spirit.
What makes Junie's Place a little bit different than the rest of Friendship Park?
Sure. So again, this is really customized and tailored for our 2 to 5-year-olds that visit Chelmsford and surrounding communities. The beautiful part of it is that it's all going to be poured-in-place surfacing, making it accessible for friends of all abilities and levels. And so it has various equipment that really myself, Junie's dad, her sister Annalie, we all sat down and picked out together things that we really thought Junie would love. And they've been wonderful about customizing some options, and so we called Junie Bug, and ladybugs are very symbolic of her, and so they were able to customize a rider with a ladybug and put some ladybugs into the poured-in-place surfacing. And so really it's going to be for friends of all abilities, but really have Junie's mark on it in so many ways.
Wow, it sounds like a great place. So we have a video of Friendship Park. So let's run that, Pete, and we can see what it looks like now and what it's going to look like.
Sure.
So the whole field is just a really nice place, and I know that there's like a cafe there. I kept thinking like, in the summer it must be so great as a mom to come here and hang out and have some coffee. Steve, tell us about the field and the upcoming playground from the Department of Public Works perspective.
Well, the field actually has 2 baseball fields in the back, and also a walking trail that's about 1/3 of a mile going around, and with that we have 4 stations that have exercise areas. As far as the DPW is concerned, we're going to be putting in, we've had some water running off the field that's flooding the playground occasionally when we get heavy rain. So we're going to put a drainage, this is the unglamorous stuff, this is a drainage system that's going to push the water down to the street.
Oh good, so our little kids don't have to be good swimmers, right?
Yes, so we're going to do that. And then what the DPW will also be doing is we're going to dig out the sandbox. We're going to dig down and make it drain better. We're going to be put one of the stone walls there. We're going to be taking that out, and then they'll open up the fence and actually right where Junie's Place is, and they'll do like a pre-install to get it ready for the installers that come in with the playground equipment, and that will save the town money. And that will be DPW Highway that will be doing that.
It sounds like it's going to be an amazing place. Is there any particular piece of equipment that you think Junie would have really loved? I know you built the whole thing around her spirit.
Yes, I think she would love the Ladybug Rider. I think that would be a favored piece, but there's also a sensory wall, and it has various panels that for friends to touch, and I think she would have really, really enjoyed that as well. The other piece that they were able to do was pour into place a hopscotch, and that was something that was one of Junie's favorite things to do with her Nona, her grandmother, as well as her sister, and so that feels very near and dear to us that that will be included in that as well.
Yeah, we have a map of where Junie's place is going to be in the park, and I did see that distinctive hopscotch shape, and my heart, dear to my own heart, I used to play hopscotch in my backyard all the time. That's really fun. You don't see that very much anymore, so thank you for including that.
Absolutely. The other exciting piece is that we are doing, partnering with Tiny Tiles Mosaics, and so we are doing a community mosaic project where we'll create custom mosaic pieces that will be put on benches at the playground, and those again are really in Junie's honor, and so featuring ladybugs and butterflies, and Junie thought Hey Jude, the song, was about her. She thought it was Hey Junie, and so some lyrics from Hey Jude on there, and just and from books that felt really special to us, and so that is also a way that the community is coming together in terms of honoring Junie and putting their own mark on the playground.
So in addition to being a mom and a full-time employee at the VA, you really put your heart and soul behind this project. It was a long time coming. You presented to the board and did some fundraising?
We did. Originally, when we had the goal of, $145,000, I did not think it was possible. And because of this incredible community rallying behind us and their generosity, we were able to meet that and surpass it. I think we raised $153,912 in less than 10 months.
Wow.
And so I really am so grateful to the community for really supporting us through this, making this happen, and helping me memorialize Junie.
Well, that is quite an accomplishment and quite a tribute to the Dillon family and to Junie, and thank you so much for this. Thank you to the Department of Public Works for helping make it all possible, and thank you for being here on Chelmsford Tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We'll be right back after this break. Continuing with our theme of people doing extraordinary things, with me tonight are Lisa Magnuson and Ted Yurkosky, who have led community classes on Ukrainian egg decorating. Thanks for being here, Ted and Lisa.
Thank you.
So I see in front of me these beautiful eggs that have been decorated with traditional Ukrainian designs and probably designs from people's own imagination. So tell us about Ukrainian egg decorating. You guys held a class at the Chelmsford Center for the Arts back in February. How did this project get started?
Well, Karen, 2 years ago, I decided to offer one class, and I was looking for a space, and talked to Susan Gates at the CCA, who offered the space if we opened it to the public. And little did we know we'd have so much demand, and the class sold out immediately. Ted contacted me and said, let's offer more classes. So we ended up offering 3 classes 2 years ago. The war had just started in Ukraine, and we thought it would be the least we could do to offer them all the proceeds from the class. So we did that. And 2 years later, here we are, the war's still going on, and we decided to offer another class. So Ted and I have become fast friends and partner in egg decorating. It's something we both enjoy. He's been doing it for his whole life. And we had about 15 people at the recent class at the CCA, and all proceeds going to UNICEF for Ukraine.
Wow, so UNICEF, it's the children of Ukraine is where this money is going. Right. And do either of you have an attachment to Ukraine? I love your crafting vest. Did you make that yourself?
I did, yes, a little symbol of support for Ukraine, yeah.
That's really nice. Do you have family background, or was it just the news that touched you about what was going on there?
My family grew up in what is now southern Poland, but at the end of World War II, most of those were moved to Ukraine. So there's still some family there.
And so this tray that we have on the table is a tray from over the years that are yours.
Many years, different guests come in, and we saved, well, we give away our best, but we save some of their best as well.
And this is something that people do around Easter time?
Mm-hmm. Every year.
Every year.
Yes.
So, you know, these look like machine made, like the precise lines and beautiful bright colors, but really these are handmade. And we actually have a video of the process for making these. And Ted, do you want to talk us through the process?
You start with a white egg. In this case, Lisa is emptying the contents. And then what you do on the egg is basically write in beeswax through that stylus, saving all the color that's underneath. So if you've started out with a white egg, everything you draw at that point remains white forever. Then you dye in a darker color, let's say yellow. Everything you wax over in yellow stays yellow. And then so on down the line until you've chosen your last color. In many cases, traditionally, black is the cover. And there we've reached the final stage where all the design is on. The wax is coming off with a heat gun, and all that beautiful design is revealed.
It's beautiful.
That's so cool. You just like wipe away all the dye and you're left with this beautiful piece of art. That's so cool.
Traditionally, they would take the wax off over a candle or perhaps in an oven, but we have a little more modern technique of using a little, a little gun that has very hot air and that takes wax off a little easier.
Wasn't a hairdryer.
Wasn't a hairdryer. It's an embossing tool.
What's this process called? It has a special name?
Pisanki is the name, is the plural noun for the eggs, and the Slavic root for that word is pisato, which is to draw. So you're drawing in ink or writing in wax on these eggs.
And that tool that you're using to draw on the egg, that also has a special name?
It's called a kistka.
Kistka.
Kistka. And beeswax is the perfect melting temperature for this. Your fingers won't melt it. It'll stay intact and the design will hold. So
you melt I saw candles, right? Mm-hmm. So you melt the candle wax and you put it inside the kistka.
Yes.
And then you draw on the egg.
You write on the egg with the wax.
All right. Even seeing it with my own eyes, it's still hard to believe you get such a beautiful product.
It takes about 30 minutes before people get the hang of drawing and the coloration. And by the time they finish their first egg, they say, now I've got it, I'm ready for another.
Yeah, it's very fun, very addicting. We love it, yeah.
So, Lisa, you like crafts?
I love crafts, yes, of all kinds. And years ago, I went to a class at the Museum of Russian Icons in Clinton, Mass., and took a class on this, probably about 15 years ago. And I've been doing it ever since. And Ted's been doing it his whole life. But I'm a newbie, but I just like all kinds of crafts. So I offer a lot of local classes, so it's a lot of fun.
So how many people did you have in the class?
I believe we had 15.
This time, and there must have been close to 50 the first
Yes, close to 50
year.
the first time.
And was it new to everybody, or had they done this in their life?
I met a woman who was obviously experienced at it, and I inquired about where she learned it. She said, coal mining, Pennsylvania. And I said, well, my mother grew up in coal mining, Pennsylvania. Turns out it was the same hometown. This woman's mother would have been my mother's peer and gone to high school with her.
Wow.
So yes, there were some people who knew the technique.
Yeah. I love those coincidences.
And then my next door neighbor, Angie, who's also in Voices of Hope, which is your next segment, she said, oh, I've done this my whole life. So she came and helped Ted and I for all the classes. So you never know when someone has done it before, maybe that you didn't know about. But it's a tradition that a lot of people do, depending on what part of the country you're in.
What's charming about this is you can take it to people who've never done it before. They have no idea what the traditional styles should be, and they go all over the place with it, and it's a beautiful thing. I do this at high schools in the area, Woburn and Wakefield High School. I go back tomorrow.
All right, so next year, please let me know when you're holding this class again, and maybe I'll make it a tradition in my family. It seems like a really nice tradition that you guys have adopted and that you're sharing with the Chelmsford community. Thank you so much, and thank you for the money that you're sending off to those kids in Ukraine, and I'm sure UNICEF and everyone appreciates it. And thank you for being with us today on Chelmsford Tonight.
Thanks, Karen.
We'll be right back after this break.
Out there in the world outside of yours, farming
That was Kenny Meehan rehearsing for the upcoming production of Hello, Dolly at the North Shore Music Theater on April 13th and 14th. He is performing in a show put on by Voices of Hope. Luckily for us, tonight Kenny is joining us in the studio with his wife Diane Meehan to talk about Voices of Hope and their upcoming show. Hello, Kenny. Well, hello, Diane. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So I could really do this whole show as musical theater and come up with all kinds of lines from Hello, Dolly, but I won't. But I will just say, Kenny, it's so nice to have you back where you belong. You were here last year talking about Voices of Hope production of The Music Man, and now you're back to talk about this year's show. So if you could just remind our viewers what Voices of Hope is about.
Sure. Well, certainly it's very nice to be back, so thank you for having us. So Voices of Hope is a philanthropic organization that raises money for cancer research through theater. It's a group of like-minded people who wanted to do something in a way to help the cancer community, and our president and founder, Greg Chastain, had lost his mother, and he really started it wanting to do something more, and he put together a concert that did really well, and all the money got donated, and then everybody just sort of, and him in particular, really wanted to keep it going, and it's been going for quite a while now.
Since 2009, I think.
2009, yeah, was that first year.
And in that time, about how much money has been donated to cancer research?
So as of Saturday, we're really thrilled to announce that we will be making a donation to the Mass General Termeer Center for Cancer Research that will bring our donations to $1 million.
Woo, woo, that's quite a milestone.
It's incredible.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very exciting.
And a lot of this money has been donated and earned through the efforts of your whole family. So, Diane, I know you've been involved with Voices of Hope since almost the beginning, and you guys have been paired together as leading man and leading lady in many productions, and your children are involved. What's that been like?
It's the best. Yeah, all three of our daughters have been on the Voices of Hope stage at one time or another. Our oldest is in college, so she hasn't been able to join us for the last couple of years, but last year for The Music Man, all the four of us, other than my oldest, Madeline and Leora, were able to join us in The Music Man, and it's just so special, to have our family as part of our extended Voices of Hope family, and also to help our girls continue the mindset of using their talents for good. We are also involved with the summer program. I'm the producer for our teen and youth summer program, where we've raised, I think, about almost $60,000 in donations for Voices of Hope through the hard work of all the kids that donate their time in the summer. So it's really fantastic.
And it's really great that you are exposing young people to musical theater. We were teasing Kenny because Hello, Dolly's so old, and he was kind of tripping over his lines. We're like, really? The show's been out forever. You don't know all the words. But, for young people, these old shows are, they're kind of relics, and it's really nice that you're exposing them to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they love it, and it's a nice way for us to be able to do things together, that our hobbies aren't taking us out of the house and away from the family, because we're all sort of involved at the same time, which is nice.
So you guys, Kenny, you're a Chelmsford police officer and a Chelmsford resident, and Diane, you are a director of operations for Talent Tech Labs. So you're both working full time, and you have your big happy family, and you're finding time to do this, as well as the whole cast of Hello, Dolly is out there putting in their time. About how much time do you guys put in for the show?
Ooh.
every waking moment you're not at work, right?
It's a lot. I mean, it's you figure we're rehearsing at least 3 nights a week, sort of at a minimum, depending on the part and what's going on. So it's and we started in December with auditions. So,
and I'm producing the show, so there's a lot that happens, so much that happens behind the scenes, and we have countless volunteers that are putting in so many hours. I mean, just nights, weekends, maybe even a couple of hours during the day. But yeah, there are so many hours spread across you know, the 100+ people that are involved in the production, from, you know, backstage crew to all of the lighting and sound and the musicians and the cast. And it's just, it's extensive. It's incredible, the amount of time that goes into it.
And most people that are involved, unfortunately, their lives have been touched by cancer, or they know someone, and so they're all, everyone has their heart in this. Is that?
Absolutely. I think, does anybody not know somebody who's been touched by cancer, unfortunately?
Yeah.
There are some people who are touched more deeply, more intimately by it than others. We also have a lot of survivors in our group, thankfully. And we have people who've lost parents, siblings, children. But we also just have people who are really committed to being a part of the movement for the future.
Right.
You know, even if they personally haven't been intimately involved with it. So.
Right. So Voices of Hope, and you're really giving that hope to people. $1 million is a lot. So, Diane, you are usually on stage, and because you are the producer of Hello, Dolly, can I assume you're not on stage this show?
I am not on stage. I needed to take a little break.
I don't think producing is a little break.
Well, it's a different kind of. It's a different kind of work. I needed to give my brain a break from memorizing things. We've been going from show to show to show, and I just needed to take a little time off stage for a little bit. But you're right, producing is definitely a lot of time, but in a different way, and I really enjoy it.
All right, so let's step back in time to when you and Kenny were on stage last. We got a clip of you guys performing a duet in The Music Man last year.
No, I never heard it at all till there was you.
So there was a lot of passion in that kiss, and because you're married, I'm sure that there was not a lot of acting there, right? You guys have been together for a very long time, you've been on stage together, but I understand that when you guys met and you were married, and there was a time you were divorced and then back together. So it's a little bit of a Dolly Levi story. So you told me a story about a director being your Dolly Levi.
Well, the director of this production and the executive artistic director of Voices of Hope, Dana Siegel, she during 2018, we were cast in Titanic, and she came up to me and wanted to make sure I was really okay with.
That's ominous.
It's a great show, but we were cast in the same production. She wanted to make sure I was really okay with working with Kenny again, and we were, and that our relationship kind of blossomed again, and we were married the next year in 2019. We got remarried.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you two are together and that you are making magic on the stage for cancer research and for Voices of Hope. And I hope that you will come back next year and tell us what you're in next year. Maybe you'll take some producing time too, and you'll be on stage. But no, it's been a delight talking to you guys, and thank you for all you're doing for our community.
Thank you so much
for having us. Yeah.
And that's our show for tonight. I want to thank Bruce Magnuson, our new CTN volunteer, for bringing us the story on Ukrainian egg decorating, and Roy Early for the Voices of Hope piece. If you have any ideas for our show, we'd love to hear from you. Email at us at chelmstonight@gmail.com. That's CHELMS, the number 2, NITE@gmail.com. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining me.
words creeping into his conversation. Words like swell and so's your old man. Well, if so, my friends, we got trouble. Oh, we got trouble. Right here in River City. Right here in River City. No, I never heard it at all till there was you. Out there in the world outside of yours, farming will there be all this big town army.